finished second, which 2 years ago we finished second. Last year we finished sixth, and this year we finished second, which saying it like that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
This time, a couple of weeks ago, I felt pretty bad losing a grand final, but realistically, we feel like we're playing pretty good grade of cricket, and for the calibre of guys we've got and what we put in, we were pretty happy sitting back now to have a beer and say, well, you were contenders for this year. We had an interesting situation this year where we had a few guys, new guys into the team. So obviously Fish came back. We had Andy Stinky Wyman come in and be a bit more of a regular part of the team, which was great because he played a couple of games the year before. Danny Ansco came in, although he's left now. Danny Ansco came in and he was a good acquisition to the team, and we also had Woz come in. And Woz immediately got into a dick measuring contest.
Correct.
And so it's kind of like at the zoo where you've got like one cage with this old baboon in it, and every day the baboon comes out of the enclosure, walks around the cage clockwise. It always goes clockwise because it's its enclosure, it can do whatever it wants, and it walks clockwise. And then for some reason, maybe the baboon's looking a bit old in the tooth or whatever, and then the zookeepers decide they're going to introduce a second baboon. And this second baboon comes into the enclosure and comes out of its little house every day, and it wants to strut around the cage, but it wants to walk anti-clockwise. Just because the second baboon is a wanker. And so, after 4 weeks, I decided I would stop going clockwise and I'd go anti-clockwise the same way Woz wanted to go. And we came to a relative truce, and I figured that I've given up at home, and now I gave up at cricket as well, and so I just did whatever Woz wanted, which was okay. I fear that, look, this is going to take a morbid turn, and I apologise, but in case this is news to anyone, we're all going to die. At some stage, we're all going to die, and it's sad. It's really sad. But what's going to happen is that there's going to be a funeral, and most of us will have someone who will speak at our funeral, and it will be a eulogy. And most eulogies go along the lines of, kind of bland situations where it's cliches of, he was the regular family man, or he was, he was everybody's friend, or it was the guy you could turn to in a hard time. I'm prefacing my speech tonight by saying I'm fully aware that at my eulogy, no one will stand up and say, Dents never said a bad word about anyone. Okay? And I'm comfortable with that. Now, with that knowledge in tow, I want to introduce my cannon fodder for this evening, Graham Burton. Okay, now, Bert's came and joined our team this year, and for those of you who haven't played with Graham Burton, you've probably heard about it if you stood next to him at the pub. But Graham Burton batted in our top 3 for most of the year, and he's quite an erratic batsman. And so, if the ball is a full toss, it's this. If the ball is a yorker, it's this. If the ball is a half tracker, you can guess what it is. Okay? And there's a wonderful term in the German language which doesn't necessarily directly translate to English, which is Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude, which is laughing at someone else's misfortune. Okay? Now, we played a game at Unley High where I don't think I'm in dispute here, where the fastest bowler in our league was bowling big in-swinging hoopers and hit Bert's in the box. And he went down on all fours and ended up laying down on the pitch. Now, part of you as a captain and a teammate is thinking, geez, I should get out there and make sure he's okay and rub his back and just his back and make sure that he's all right. And another part of you is kind of hoping that in that instantaneous time when the ball hit the box, that it's created this little split and it's open for a second, caught a bit of the tackle, and then quickly closed again, and he's not going to be able to retrieve the box from his person. But that didn't happen. But what it made me think was, why is Bert's go-to shot, even if it's aimed directly at his box, is it just... And then it came to me. It came to me in a dream. I was dozing off to sleep one night, and I could picture this little kid, a 6-year-old kid. I've got sons too, so I could just picture them playing together, and I pictured this little boy in his lounge room, kind of bad haircut, kind of looks like Alf from that TV show, with a slight speech impediment, and his name is Graham. Graham, and he probably even refers to himself in the third person. Graham wants a cookie now, mummy. So Graham is Graham Burton. And Graham has only one friend in the world. And he's a good friend. He's a very good friend. It's not helped by the speech impediment that he has also. And his name is Warren. So Warren and Graham are inseparable. They are inseparable friends, right? And one year for Christmas, Graham gets a box, and he opens the box, and inside, the game Test Match. Test Match. So Warren, he always bowls, and Graham is the batsman. So Warren bowls, and Graham, all he's ever seen is this. And it makes sense because that's exactly what he does. But then I thought more about it. I thought, hang on, we are all of similar age. We are the generation of Test Match. That's who we are. And then you think about Jumbo. Bowls in, rolls in, runs at the same speed that the ball goes when it comes from his arm, and it's always the same, and it rolls down and it always lands in the same spot. But you know at the end of the game of Test Match where someone's getting beaten and someone's winning a lot, that you get a bit shitty and you just flick the bowler's arm and the ball flies out and it hits the batsman, like the actual batsman, in the eye or whatever. That's what Paul Simmons bowls like.
Yeah, that is exactly like that.
If you've ever watched one of our games, which a few of you were out there to watch the grand final, you watch a ball get hit through our field and none of the fielders turn around, it's the same as Test Match. And the real kicker, the real bit that decided it for me, was the wicket keeper. You know how 3 out of 4 times the ball bounces back up the pitch and doesn't stay in the wicket keepers? Well, it's a bit similar to that as well.
Correct.
But anyway, regardless. Sorry, Jim, I apologise.
Oh, that's...
Simon was our wicket keeper this year. Simon, that's you. So then, look, that's the way that we play our cricket. We play our cricket with a laugh and with a smile on our face, and more often than not, we're out there to have fun and to take the mickey out of each other. It's a really great leveler. So once again, I enjoyed cricket very much this year. The story of our cricket this year was, I was talking to some guys beforehand, and we had 4 or 5 games that were decided by either less than a handful of runs or either less than 2 or 3 wickets, and we won 4 of them and we lost 1. And we finished second on the ladder at the end of the minor round season. And the semi-final was no different. We won that by 1 wicket. And, you know, I think that says something about, you know, the old dogs we've got in a team where we can sort of figure out a situation and pull through when we need to. Like Sparky took 3 wickets. What do we need? They need 6 or 7 runs with 2 overs to go and 4 wickets in hand. And Sparky took 3 for none in 1 over, and Danny took none for 1 in the last over, and we won a game from nowhere. We had no right to win that game. And it was great. It was really, they were the team lifting things that you need as a group, I think. And we were very, very, you know, pumped with our performances there. So given the toss of a coin on a couple of occasions, our season would have been very, very different. So we had some interesting things happen this year with every team is competitive within itself, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that batsmen want to make more than their batting partner. It's a good thing that bowlers want to take the most wickets. I think we have a good even team, but it was excellent that we had 4 bowlers, I think, finished within 2 wickets of each other at the top, and I think we had a top 3 batsmen finish within 6 runs, 4 runs, and someone else was 30 runs behind. Like it was a really even season. So I think there's something to be said for that, and it's good that everyone can sort of feel like they contribute and they've got a part to play. So I'll get on to the presentations here. Bowling this year, like I said, there was, I think before the grand final, there was 3 guys tied for the top and one guy won below. And we didn't take a lot of wickets in the grand final. But look, I think it would have been a travesty if this guy didn't win the bowling trophy this year. In fairness, it's probably been unfair, and I can say this because I won the bowling trophy the last year, but without being the best bowler. Just because you take the most wickets doesn't mean you are the best bowler, but that's how the trophies are judged. But Mark Kelly this year won the bowling trophy, and probably the last couple of years should have been, but we're by far our best bowler this year, mate. Well done. 23 wickets. And the batting trophy this year, 2 years in a row. Batting trophy this year, so what do we have? Uzi was, what, 1 or 2 runs behind? Phil was 1 or 2 runs behind? Both 4 runs behind, were they? Okay. And apart from Phil, none of them made runs in the final, so they had their opportunity. Look, another great year by this guy who continues to deliver, a really good team man, up and about, and you know, really, I guess, sums up what the other 11 guys I'd like to play cricket with are all about. You know, they're all about how we're going, everyone getting up and about, making sure that that things are done, and wherever he can pitch in, he does. And Paul Simmons this year, 369 runs at an average of 36.
Well, Jesus.
Get the one.
I tell you what, the batting trophy is a lot bigger than the bowling one.
Well done, good job. Alright folks, so we are going to have a break now. I think it's dinner time, and we'll come back after the break with the Bs and the As and the other special mentions. Alright, thank you.
Thanks, Dents.